evening, afternoon rather, and I'd like to take the time to welcome you to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. I am your host, Dedric Hubbard, and today we're going to continue part two of our Renewing Your Mind series, and we're still talking about relationship. And I was thoroughly enjoyed that many of you either talked to me indirectly, emailed me, or said something to me to the effect that how just that one video this morning had you looking at how you view relationships now. And that is what God wants us to do, because we're so stuck on how our relationships look to the world that for many of us, we fail to see when we really don't have no relationships. And oftentimes, we fail to see that we don't want that we sometimes don't have a relationship. It's because we want one so badly. We want to be needed. We want to be what we call loved. We want to be accepted. We want to be how we want to be. But have you ever thought in a relationship that maybe sometime God brings people in your life because he wants you to be different than how you see yourself? And a lot of us, we can't see ourselves different from what we see because we want other people's approval. We look for things that add value to our lives, because for many of us, we have no value in our life. I look at how I grew up. We didn't have much. Mama cook a pot of them big old pot of them black eyed peas and throw them hog maws or turkey neck over there. You know what I'm saying? We gonna eat that for 3-4 days. Huh? No meat now. It's them hog maws in there. And when the cornbread run out, or depending on she cooked that hot water cornbread, you're gonna heat that up and eat it with them beans. And then in the morning, that hot water cornbread, we take that Cairo syrup. See, we ain't have Aunt Jemima. We couldn't afford Aunt Jemima. You pour that Cairo syrup on that hot water cornbread, them pancakes now, baby. And I think, like I said, I'm not trying to bash, or what's her name, the person in question, but I'm looking at something. How can I grow up in the ghetto, in the hood, in the poverty, and then I'm able to live down there anywhere I wanted to, in some of the most prestigious places that oftentimes people dying to live in? I lived in it because of the grace of God on my life. And I think the reason I keep saying certain things about what I had, because you got to look at it. What am 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47. I met that one when I was 46 years old. 45, 46. I wasn't driving or nothing because of other issues, but I was staying right in one of the most prestigious zip codes in Atlanta. I can look out my window and see the Lenox Mall from my window. That let you know I was right in the middle of the millionaires. I wasn't no millionaire. But that says something about being established. But this what caught my mind. I built all that. So you telling me, God, and this what me and God having a conversation, because you got to make it make sense. I trusted you to get to a place till I get like that. And for 9 years, I had all of that. But in 9 years, when something's no more longer there, I don't have nothing. See, that's what gets me. I wish it was a law or some kind of spiritual principle that if you don't want nobody no more, you let them go back with what they came with. Nothing extra. Let them go with what they came with. Because, man, I was the man. In the world's eye, I was just being me and mine. How you think. So you tell me I get married and I lose everything that to me it was so hard to gain. Now you telling me you married someone and they don't even have enough heart in them to say, hey, we need to split this stuff because I didn't have this. Hell, you were staying with your done kin folks, probably sharing a queen size bed. Now you in 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo, and you take everything. That's a low down dog. I don't care what hey, change my thinking, God. That's a low down dog there. That's a low down mofo. And then you send me an email talking about just as easy as it was for us to get married, it should be as easy as it was for us to divorce. I guess so when you got everything. What's more easy that you just kick a nigga out with his clothes? Mind you, put him in the back of my truck. Hell, I didn't even pack my stuff. I didn't pack all my stuff out. You did. So yeah, that is easy. When you took everything, even took my darn Crocs. You did. God damn, I went and bought me some more. Relationships, y'all. And I think, and see, you got to understand, a lot of time God allowed you to go through something so you can get a relation from it. You got to get a revelation from it. So when I said that Ecclesiastes 7, 8, and 9, I said better is the end of a thing than its beginning, and the patient spirit is better than the proud spirit. See, I knew in the end what I really seen in the beginning. But when the prophets came to me, they said, Dedric, is she here for you or she here to? I ain't gonna tell y'all what they said. And I said, no, she okay. But that's how I do people. And they left me alone. So in the end of a relationship, you can also see how a person really felt about you in the beginning. Because you telling me it should be easy. It wasn't easy for me to get married. And see, that's why as women, you really got to know the heart of the man you marrying, because you don't know what a man may go through. 1 Corinthians 6 and 18. It said, flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body. But the sexual immoral person sin against his own body. See, that's what I was telling y'all earlier. You say you sing about choice. You say you don't want no man, you don't want no woman, but yet and still you'll find somebody to sleep with at ease. That's another reason why a lot of your spirits are messed up. It's because everybody in your spirit. Man, where is it? When I messed around and God gave me the revelation while I was out here wilding and doing all the things, when I wrote that book, Deceived in the Sheets, 7 Principles to Breaking Soul Tie, man, that's a powerful book. I'm around here slinging it everywhere, not knowing I'm leaving a piece of me everywhere. Because, see, I got to a point where I said, okay, something different about me. I got to a point where I have gave so much of myself looking for love, looking for satisfaction, that I didn't understand I was tearing myself up. See, that's why people, when they start hearing me talk that sex talk and them talk I talk, some laugh and judge what I say. It's because I really don't give you the whole revelation of why I say what I say until now. I was tore up. I was like that crackhead looking for the next hit, which means once I got what I wanted, get out my house. Don't come around me. And see, oftentimes, a lot of abused people got to understand the spirit of an abuser. People don't become gay because they want to be gay. People come gay because they looking for something. And sometimes when you find it in that same spirit, be it is in a woman or a man, you call it homosexuality, but it's no homosexuality because, as I talk often, it has no gender. All you really see is a spirit of lack looking for a spirit of comfort. And if that comfort comes into the same sex, that's all they doing. They trying to make something work that wasn't meant to work, but they're trying to make it work. Romans 12:19. It said, beloved, never avenge yourself. Believe it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. The only thing I hate about that scripture is that God don't tell you why he on you. He don't tell you why he on you. And see, cause I be saying, God, I want you to tell them you doing this because of what they did to me. Because see, that's why I'm careful of what I say to people. That's why I'm careful of how I respond to certain things. Because I try not to respond in anger because you don't know how angry I can get. I do. My anger has no end. My anger will totally try to destroy you. That's why I stay in God so much. See, that's why when people want to talk, you can't discern reality. I don't. Because if I discern reality, I might hurt myself or some people. So I get my mind stayed on Jesus. Because I know how my mouth can get. I throw all Christ, all God, all Holy Spirit, I throw all that out the window for revenge. That's why I ain't gonna say that. I can't get even with nobody. I try. Well, used to try, but I don't know more. Because I can never get you like God will get you. Now I can get close to it because I be satisfying me. God needs that satisfaction because God the one protected me. God the one made me. God gives me what I need. God listens to me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. God knows things about me that I never share with anybody. Just yesterday, I was talking to them about it, and I shared something with them that I never share with anybody else. First Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up just as you are doing. See, the problem is with that, you got people who encourage you just because it's the right thing to do, and you just got people who encourage you because they really believe in you. It's something to be in a relationship, whether it be man or woman, especially if you preaching the gospel, and your man or your woman don't never say, "Ooh, that's a good word. That's a good revelation. Can you teach me more?" They ain't selling no books. They ain't sharing no video. They ain't sharing no posts, but they looking at everything you do. They ain't helping you hold up no signs. They ain't helping you promote your ministry, but they taking of everything you do as it relates to ministry. Y'all got to watch them kind of people. I've been there. And, and you got some that when they do support you, they give your stuff away. They don't sell it because it goes. They give it away. But watch this. They'll encourage you to go out and drink. They'll encourage you to party. They'll encourage you to get in the world, but they won't encourage you in God. Watch out for them. Satan wear a skirt too, just as good as he wear pants. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. It didn't say they were, they shall, because anything that's worth building with is worth building. But if you the only one carrying the bricks and the other one using water but calling it cement, you in a world of trouble. They pouring down great water, telling you it's cement. You know why they pouring down great water, telling you it's cement? It's because they really don't want you. That means that means you got to see, early on when your foundation unstable. See, some people can play love, they can play supportive, but when you sit back and the rubber hit the road, is that really who they are? Ephesians 4:29. It says, "Let no corrupting talk come out your mouth, but only such as is good and for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear." Man, I can only remember saying two things in a fit of anger, and it wasn't good at all. Wasn't good at all. Because sometimes speaking from a man point of view, men can be just as quiet as women for the sake of the family. But everybody got a button you want to push. And sometimes that button, when you push it, it brings up everything that you suppress because we're taught to pray for them. You know, maybe they'll change, maybe there's a change, and we waiting and we waiting and we waiting. But then we become gods to ourselves. We choose when the waiting is over. We choose when we had enough. But you got to understand, it says, be not weary in well doing. So when you got enough and you choose to stop, guess what you get? You lose, not the person that was waiting for. Huh? Yeah. I used to, listen here. Can I be honest with y'all? I talk about everything I lost, but I see what God gave me to gain. Yeah, I had a nice place. Listen here. My bathroom's so big now. Let me tell you now. I can put a king size bed in the bathroom and still have enough room to go to the toilet, go in the closet, take me a bath, take me a shower, and brush my teeth. The one I left, with the one that the locks got changed on me, I could even put a twin wouldn't fit in it. But it was nice now. A twin match couldn't fit in that. It's time for consolation prizes. That's why I'm saying certain things. Because I told y'all in May, some of y'all will start getting blessed. But see, the reason you might not see your blessing is because you may not picture it as you want to picture it. A king size bed. Ain't hurt my feelings, but I won't do that. Ecclesiastes 4 and 12 says, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken. See, when a relationship ends, it's because one or the other is not really including God. And when you don't include God, things are bound to get destroyed. Now, y'all will say God telling y'all to do it. Y'all will say God told me this, and God this, God that. But I can look at you and tell you ain't got no relationship with God. I'm just gonna go and say it. Cause see, one thing a lot of y'all got to understand, I keep my mouth closed a lot. I ain't keeping my mouth closed a lot. So if I tell you you ain't got no relationship with God, 9 times out of 10, God had already told me, and I can see it for myself. So no, you ain't got no relationship with God. Because see, a relationship with God comes with power. It comes with authority. It comes with obedience. It comes with instruction. It comes with wisdom. It comes with understanding. All you know, all you know is the word, and don't even know how to teach the word. You just know what it say because you read it. Ecclesiastes 4:10. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Man, I went through the worst trials of my life. And the one that should have been around me, the one that could have kind of understand, the one I thought would have helped me, that's the one that kept tearing me down. That's the one that just kept calling me, you did this, you did that, you did that, you did that. And some days I didn't even want to live. Can you imagine you dealing with suicide, whether you want to live, whether you want to die, you dealing with demons, and a nigga pick up the phone and all they got to say is what you make them feel like and what you didn't do and what you did there. What kind of person is that? I was talking to my mama today. My mama went to the doctor. I kind of chuckled when she said it, but it wasn't a chuckle as it was funny. She said she went to the doctor and the doctor told my mama she had a stroke. But my mama said she feeling okay. I was laughing because sometimes I tell y'all that God told me I had a stroke because I was depressed for 5 years and didn't know it. And what I told my mama, I said, you running behind them children, you be sitting your ass down. Okay, Nora. Nora's my other auntie who we communicate with. That's the same thing she said. That's what dropped in my spirit. You got my sister around here, jetting around here everywhere, getting drunk, getting high. Them her damn children. Make her go pick up her own children. You almost 73 years old, and you still running around here. She married. Let that. But that's mama. You can't tell her that. But I laugh because that's why one of my eyes sit lower than the other. Because when he told me to look in the mirror, he said, you had a stroke and you didn't know it. I said, okay. That's God protection. So now every time I look in the mirror, I can see what God said. So just like the rainbow, that symbolized that I could have been dead, sleeping in my grave. But God saw fit to make that stroke behave. 2 Peter 1, 5-7. For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to persevering godliness, and to godliness mutual affection, and to mutual affection love. Do you know all those things is what God value in an individual and a relationship? So number one, some of you ain't got no faith. So you don't understand goodness. If you don't know goodness, you ain't got no knowledge. If you ain't got no knowledge, you don't know how to deal with people. And if you don't know how to deal with people, that's why you ain't got no self-control. So you cuss them out, you sleep with anybody and show you attention. You do for anybody who you think you like. Because you ain't got no perseverance, which means you don't know how to wait on God. That means you ain't got no godliness. Mutual affection. You don't know if that person, listen here. I'm going to give you the standard of dating in 2024. If you can sit down and ask that man or that woman, what do you see about me that make you want me? That make you want to be with me? And you don't want to hear how fine you look. You don't want to hear nothing about no job. You don't want to hear I love you. You don't want to hear because you complete me. You don't want to hear none of that. You want some spiritual. And see, when you really there, it's something about a man or a woman who can tell you what you is in the spirit without you even telling them in the spirit. See, when you really dating and that person from God, they from God, they gonna tell you about you more than you know about you, even when you try to hide you. But see, a lot of y'all ain't gonna go by that because right now you need money, you need help, and you're horny. See, the reason I said that, because if nothing else, you want somebody that you know hear the voice of God. Huh? I was talking to the doctor yesterday. I said, yeah. I said, such and such and such said, you right. But y'all know how I am. Of course I'm right. I'm rarely wrong because I only speak what I hear. That's what Jesus did. He said, I speak what my Father speak. That's when we go into the Songs of Songs 4 and 7. He said, you are altogether beautiful, my darling. There is no flaw in you. See, when you start to talking about people, that shows how ugly you is. When you gossiping about people, that shows how ugly you are. And see, for some of you, when you respond back to them, that shows how ugly you are once again. See, you got to let people say something and let it roll off your back. Because clapping back at them is the same thing as wrath. Let God handle them. Ephesians 5 and 25 says, husband, love your wife, just as Christ loved the church, and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word. See, a lot of us men can't wash a woman through the water with the word because they think they know it all. You can't tell me nothing about this Bible. Blah, blah, blah. I ain't trying to teach you the Bible. I'm trying to teach you God. So when you learn God, then you'll know the Bible. See, watch this. That's why I don't say much to people. That one Bible you got, it's only 18,968 different variations of the Bible. That's all it is. But guess what? They all inside the Bible. Guess what? Out of them 18,965 variations of the Bible, there are only 2.978 billion revelations of the word. But you ain't got to believe me. When you get a relationship with God, go ask him. I stand on that because I know it to be true. That's why when y'all hear me say, go get who you want and come on over here and we'll go battle for battle with this Bible, I ain't studying none of you because I know what I know. I can prove what I know too. I hope you can prove what you know. But you got to be mature in the spirit for God to give you things and say things to you that you don't just talk about it because you want to be. See, I don't want to be no chief apostle. You ain't even got no business being one if you didn't know that. That's why the Bible said, once the gospel preached to all the world, it's not necessarily the world, is that when people hit revelation, and they hit that last billion revelation, then Christ ready to return. Because that's going to be the plumb line of the end for Christ's return, because every revelation would have been released. I'm trying to teach y'all something at the same time. But I ain't going to say too much because I know how y'all are. Y'all will be around here trying to preach this at your church, or y'all will be on Facebook like you know something. You don't know nothing. That's why I left the good part out. Matthew 7:12. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. Treat people how you want to be treated. So I guess when you break up with people, they want you to take all their stuff, so they took all mine. Having a relationship with people is hard. But having a relationship without God makes it harder. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? See, if I don't go drink with you, you mad at me. That's not my fellowship. See, it's certain ways we can see what's going on, but we don't want to see it because some of us like the darkness of not seeing what's going on with us. So I don't fault what happened to me. I'm not mad. Some things I still don't understand. And some things he may not never let me understand. But one thing you're going to hear the truth of how I see it. Hebrews 10:24. And let us consider how we must spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. How can you encourage somebody you hate? How can you become one with somebody you don't want to even be around? How can you have a relationship and you fear one? We got to renew our minds. Because a lot of the way we date, we marry, and we deal with people daily, we don't do it according to the gospel. I was watching the doc make her round, and I'm looking at this 70-year-old woman. She was a nurse and all that. And I'm kind of paying attention, but I'm just looking. You don't know where you coming or going. You can't feed yourself. You can't bathe yourself. You can't brush your teeth. You got to wear diapers. And you just sit there staring. And then I'm wondering why none of the family come around. I guess they waiting on her to die today so they can get her stuff. You don't want to live a life that when you die, strangers got to take care of you because your family want nothing to do with you. All they waiting on is their piece of the pie. And I'm looking at the other day. It was funny, but it wasn't funny because here this woman taking care of this woman who ain't got nobody. And one time she called her a jerk. Then she called her a bitch. Then she tried to fight her. This 70-year-old white woman. But at the same time, what I noticed, even when she don't know who she is, I hear her often say, I love you. That do something to me. Because you did all that. That's what God is to us. He seen all we would do, and he sent his son just for God to say, I love you. But a lot of y'all ain't got that. That's why you lie, you backbite, you gossip. Some of you are taking on the spirit of your environment. You beginning to look like the same people you used to talk about. Next thing you know, y'all be walking around here wearing kitten heels. But I said all this to say this. You got to change your mind how you see people in relationships. Because if you don't change your mind, in this world to come, you're not going to see the change that's going to be made. And when you miss the change that you don't see made, you're going to miss God. And when you miss God, y'all going to be like, what's his name? The book of Eli. Y'all going to be right here walking. You're going to have your a Brother Hubbard on extra route. Because you're gonna miss the subtle instructions of God.